welcome. Thank you so much for joining me today. My name is Sarah, my pronouns are she, her, and this is a channel about the cross-stitch projects I'm working on and the cross-stitch patterns I design. You can find me on Instagram and Etsy at ModCross, and links to all the places you can find me and all the projects and people I talk about today are in the description box below. Today is Tuesday, March 14th, 2023, and this is Flosstube number 4. Thank you so much to those of you who are coming back, who maybe found me through the WIP parade, who liked, who commented, who subscribed. I so appreciate all of you. And if you're new, welcome. I hope you find something that you enjoy seeing and that you stick around and join our little community. It is somehow halfway through March already, and we got a lot of snow last week here in central Iowa, but on the farm, things are starting to get a little springy. So we had our first baby calf born, which you know will be the featured farm segment at the end because you cannot beat baby animals. And things are just, the pace is starting to pick up. And as I was gathering all my things for this episode, it turns out the Stitchy pace is picking up a little bit too. There was a lot going on and I have a lot to show. A lot of Stitchy kindness and some birthday gifts as my birthday was last month. So I hope you have some stitching with you and you can settle in and enjoy. I have a couple of thank yous to give for shout outs. First to Julie of Julie in Stitches. Thank you so much for your support, both in my comments and in your channel. She is a truly kind person. And if you want to see an eclectic mix of projects with a little bit of Wisconsin madcap, go check out Julie. She is wonderful. Julie in Stitches. And again, everything will be down below. Also to Sarah of Sarah's Stitchy Spot. Thank you so much, friend, for your shout out. Go over and watch Sarah's channel for her theme song, which was written and performed by her husband, Stan. And then stay because you will truly feel welcomed and appreciated. Sarah is one of those people that makes you feel like she's talking directly to you and that she's so happy that you're there. And of course, she has beautiful stitching. So go check out Sarah if you haven't already. And also a shout out to Allie of Cozy Cabin Stitching. She's stitching my freebie pattern. I was watching her channel and I'd kind of turned away to get some more floss and reload my needle. And I heard her mention freebie and then I heard ModCross. And I whipped back around and then she showed it, and the colors and the fabric that she chose to use is stunning. I literally fell off my couch. My toddler was worried about me. Like, Mommy, are you okay? I said, look at this. And Allie picked this beautiful variegated light blue floss and a dark fabric, and it's stunning. It looks amazing. And I've been trying to figure out how to put into words that the feeling of working on something and creating something and putting it out in the world and seeing that someone else likes it enough to put their time and their creativity into it and make it something for themselves. And it's indescribable. It's absolutely amazing. So thank you, Allie, so much. I hope you enjoyed stitching it. And I know there are a couple other channels that have shouted me out. I just found the spot on YouTube where you can see who else has mentioned you. And I was like, oh, I didn't know that was there. So I have a couple more videos to get through. I'm working on catching up, but thank you to everyone. So moving to the stitching. I just realized I didn't have the microphone plugged in for that first part, so it'll be interesting to see if there is actually a difference. If the audio quality was bad on that opener, I apologize. We'll see how it sounds from this point forward. So it does feel like spring now. It's getting there, but I have one finish that is totally winter, and it is Gathering Snowflakes by Luminous Fiber Arts. It's done. Look at the snowman's face. Oh, I love it so much. So if you've stuck with me for a few months, you know this was what I dubbed the potty training whip because I was picking it up and putting it down and getting some much needed comfort stitching while my 3-year-old was potty training this winter. So this is Gathering Snowflakes by Luminous Fiber Arts. It is on 36 count swank linen from Fortnite Fabrics, and it uses the called for Belle Soie floss in Mare Blue. and I love it. Oh, I love it. It was so much fun. I brought the border down. I kind of finished the hat and I got the outline of the snowman, and then I did the bottom border and I saved the face for last. And so one night I did, while my daughter was falling asleep, I did the mouth and the nose and one eye and then like the bottom 2 lines of the second eye, and then I just had to go to sleep. And so I thought about leaving it as kind of a cheeky winking snowman, but the eyes were too good. I had to finish it. And so it was a quick finish the next day. So each of these patterns do include at least one button as an optional thing. So there's a version of the chart with a button and the version of the chart without. And I did the one with, so I'll put a button right there on the snowman's hat when I fully finish it. After I separate it from this giant piece of fabric and iron everything, then I'll put the button on when I FFO it. So gathering snowflakes, it was an absolute joy, absolute joy. And I did bring up my finishing piece. So the idea is, it's a series. The 6th one was just released at Market, and you know I pre-ordered it because I am a completionist. If I start a series, I'm probably going to finish it. So this is a frame with a clip with a cute little rose on it that I found at our local thrift store for 25 cents. Could not bring that home. And it has this kind of burlap background. And so I'm gonna fully finish each of them individually and then hang them and switch them out in this frame. So I'm not sure if I'm gonna put a backing fabric behind it or just have trim that I'll use. I don't want to clip the clip onto the actual stitching, so there'll have to be something else with it, but I haven't quite figured out the FFOing. But I did double check the size and they will fit. I was pretty sure they would, but you know, sometimes you just never know. And I did want to show, Misty is really good in her patterns about saying if you might need more than one skein of the called for color, especially in the monochromatic designs. I stitch using 2 strands over 2 linen threads on 36 count, and I use 2 strands on 18 count Ada, and that's my sweet spot. So I did use 2 strands on this, and I have all this left from 1 skein. So 1 skein was plenty. And if you wanted, this was my maybe first or second time using silk, and so you know, if you just have to invest in one skein of one color, it's a little bit more manageable for a project to get into. So that's my finish, gathering snowflakes. My table is covered, so I'm gonna have to start spreading things out. So after the finish, oh, I need it back. My whip's on the other part. So after the finish, I was still very much in the kind of monochromatic gathering mood. And so I moved the Q-snap over and worked a little bit more on gathering acorns, which is the other one that I had started in the series. So again, 36 count swank linen, and this uses Belsois paprika. And on this one, she did suggest that you get 2 skeins if you're doing 2 over 2, because the pumpkin takes a lot. You know, it's a big squirrel, it's a big bird. So I'm interested to see if I do actually need to, but here is where I'm at. It's actually starting to look like something rather than just border, which is about all I got done last fall. So I had put in this kind of bottom of the bird last month, baby, for February, and as part of my birthday weekend, touching as many whips as I could. I did the bottom of the board, and I had 1 acorn. So when I worked on it after my finish, I finished the acorns so I could bring the side border all the way down and start going over on the bottom. And then I started putting in the pumpkin because I figured I better get started on the pumpkin if it was ever going to get done. And then got to do a little bit of fun pumpkin vine. So that is gathering acorns. Now I can put this away. I think, I'm pretty sure. Okay, full coverage update. I did meet my 1,000 stitches on each of them in the month of February by the skin of my teeth. Ripples I had pretty steady progress on throughout the month. It's really good for basketball season nice big blocks of color, very soothing, which has been needed with the Iowa State basketball season. But the Iowa State women won the Big 12 tournament, so congratulations to them. That was really fun to watch. So that's ripples. I am working from the top left corner over. And here is where I am at. So I had a page finish in January, and so now in February I'm starting to take it over and just kind of moving along with the blocks of color. They all kind of swirl to the top right. So as of now, I have not worked on it yet in March. So as of the end of February, I have 6,647 stitches done out of 206,500 total, but I am at 3.22%. So how about that? So both full coverage pieces are on 18 count Aida, 2 strands of floss, full cross. So that is ripples. Oh, this is by Julia from Electric City Stitches on Etsy. And she keeps putting out these amazing, beautiful pieces of art. And there's just no way I can stitch them all. But I'm gonna try and finish this one at least. And then maybe get some of her mini versions. We'll see. So that is ripples. And then my other full coverage is Peacock by Heaven and Earth Designs, artwork by Elizabeth Welker. And this was a New Year's start for me, and I started in the bottom right. And I had about half of my monthly goal done by the last day of February. And there was a big design deadline that was February 27th. And so when I sent in my submission, I just kind of, and I didn't want to do anything else. And so that, I think it was Tuesday, that was the 28th. It just worked out that I had lots of stitching time that day, or I made lots of stitching time that day. And I did 489 stitches on the last day of February to make my goal of 1,000. So we made it. We made it. So let's look at it. Let's wrangle, let's do all the fabric wrangling and see where we're at. So this, most of the kind of goldy mustard arc was January, and then I started filling in the black and the dark blue. And then in February, so at the end of February, I had 2,321 stitches done of 360,000. I was at, oh no, I'm sorry. That's my current one. Currently, I put in an extra 300 in March. So I did a bunch of dark in February and then decided to keep going. And I'm starting to be able to put in some really dark purple. It's DMC 154 because there's some purple coming, and you know I'm excited about the purple coming. So currently, with 300 stitches done in March, this is at 2,321 stitches out of 360,000, 0.64% done, which is tiny, but it's also 0.64% more than I had on January 1st. So, you know, progress is progress. And I've filled in a little bit up here, kind of, you know, sometimes you get sick of doing the dark. And so just kind of working my way up. And at the end of February, I realized I was about 20 stitches from the page break. And I do get motivated by page finishes, especially on a big project like this. And so I decided to come over and then I'll just work up. I think I'm about 40 stitches from the top of the page. So we will keep working in that area, and then I'll have to decide if I want to keep going up or go over. But that is where Peacock is at. And it is so satisfying, especially to fill in, because there's a lot of single stitches kind of along the curve as everything's blending and transitioning. And it's so satisfying to fill in those little holes. I think I have one right there that I have to fill in, and it's just when it fills in, it's like, oh, it's such a good feeling. It's so fun. So that is Peacock. Then I needed a car stitch, a travel stitch, since I finished gathering snowflakes. And I really really need to finish this. This is Kain Kapal, I believe number 4. It'll be down below, from JavaCrossStitch on Etsy. And this was a sale that Nithya at Daybreak Stitchery ran last year. And I made it through October's section that I got done last year. And then I just had a very small start on this border that I did over my birthday. So the bottom border will mimic the top. It's just a mirror. And so I took this in the car the last few weeks when my kids had activities and stuff. And so I am really hoping to finish it this month in March for #StitchAsia, which is a project started by Abby Bella Stitch here on YouTube and on Instagram to celebrate Asian designers, Asian fabric and floss dyers, Asian motifs. And this designer is from Indonesia, and this is a traditional Indonesian sailcloth inspired design. And I'm so close. It uses all DMC, and it is on 36 count paper bark linen by Fox and Rabbit, which is a fabulous neutral. I'm also excited to be done with it so that I can use all this loveliness for something else. So that is Kain Kapal. I think I can get it done. I think I can get it done this month. I'm taking my daughters to my parents' house later this week for a little mini spring break, and I'm hoping I can get some good solid stitching time. And this, once you get past these back stitches, are varied lengths of straight stitches, but everything else is very repetitive, and so it's good couch stitching while you're visiting with family. So that is Kain Kapal. And then, okay, one more whip. Dad, it's that time again. If you are watching, please leave the room or cover your eyes and go la 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 la. My mom is really good about making sure my dad leaves the room when I show his gift whip. So I don't have the cover photo. Hold please. Honestly, you'd think by Flosstube number 4, you could figure things out. So I hope Dad's gone now. My dad has a big birthday coming up at the end of May, and so I'm working on a gift for him, and it's going to look like this when it's done. This is the Saturn V blueprint by Lord Libidan. The Etsy shop is XStitchCollective. And I feel like every time I've shown this since I started it in January, I've said, I think it'll stitch up fast, but I really need to focus on it. And this month, I've actually focused on it. I actually did it and it worked. And I am over halfway done. So I started in the top right, and I've gotten all the way down that side, those 2 pages, and have started moving over. And here it is. Oh, I'm so excited. I think I'm going to make it. I think I'm going to make a gift deadline. And this is a cause for celebration for sure. Oh, even have to hold it back here so I can get all of it in. This is a 32 count linen in Blue Moon by Witchelt. So it's a little stiff, but I wanted a really solid color to be the backdrop of the blueprint. And then the floss is DMC Blanc, 2 strands over 2. And I love it. So once I got past kind of the middle of the module, everything got a little bit easier. And then the text has been super easy to add. And then I made it all the way across the bottom, hopefully, if the counting is correct. I did count it more than once, so I'm feeling cautiously optimistic. But I haven't brought the top all the way over yet, so if I need to adjust something or personalize something, I can do that as well. So the rocket itself does have a lot more full stitches in it, and so it'll probably take a little bit longer. But I'm just excited that I've actually gotten to that point because I feel like I can make it before the end of May. So those are my whips. I have I have so much amazing stitchy kindness and stitching investments. I can't wait to show you guys everything. First is plans, and I try not to make too many plans because if I don't follow through on them, then I feel a little guilt and a little shame, and I don't need room for that in my stitching. But I am going to start gathering clover on the first day of spring, which is next week, if you can believe it. And I cannot wait to get going with the green. Oh, I'm so excited about it. So that will be my piece for next week. I might also have to start Miriam's new design, Marumi Crafts, because she's doing a stitch along and it's beautiful and it's another spring celebration, and I'm probably going to have to do that too. So next week will be busy. But that's gathering clover. I have the called for Belle Soie, which is collard greens for that one. So that will be a start, and I'm very close to finishing my pansy design, which I believe I showed in my whip parade. I finished the stitching part and then decided to change something that I'd been thinking about changing for months, and I hadn't ripped out stitches yet. So now I'm committed. I'm ripping out the stitches on just the upper pink part, and you know, when something is bothering you about a design and you just kind of let it go, and if it's still bothering you months later, you should probably change it. So I'm hoping to have that released in March as well. And I'll do a Flosstube extra video or something about that. So investments and an overwhelming amount of stitchy kindness. Just thank you to everybody. Nashville Needlework Market was last weekend, 2 weekends ago. It was the first weekend in March. And it is kind of the big wholesale trade show for needlework shops and designers and fabric dyers and notions makers and all the exciting things. And so there have been lots of new releases, lots added to the wish list, but I pulled the trigger on 2 to pre-order. And then when I went to my local needlework shop yesterday to pick them up, I did sneak another one in. So Luminous Fiber Arts Gathering Stitches. Look at the birds. Look at the needle and the beak. And there's these long stitches for the spool. Ugh. At first, when I saw the sneak peek, I was like, that is pink. And it's pink, but oh, look at the birds. The pins. So I'm so excited. I'm so excited. I got a massive, that piece of swank is a half yard. It's massive. I can fit lots of these on there, Misty. So just keep them coming because I love them all. So had to get that one. That was an automatic. And then I got Honey Fair by October House Fiber Arts. I got Strawberry Fair from when she released that one. So can't say no to the bees and the honey. So there is a Strawberry Fair stitch along going on, at least on Instagram. And I wasn't quite ready with a fabric selection and things to join in, but I would like to get at least one of these started in the summer in all my spare time. Guys, my husband and I went to a farmer's market organizational meeting last week. We're not going to have any spare time in the summer. So those are the 2 I pre-ordered from my local needlework shop, which is Criss Stitchery in Iowa Falls, Iowa. She does not have online ordering, but if you give her a call, I'll put her phone number down below. She does ship things. So her name's Rhonda. She'll take care of you. And if you are in the area, you have to go in and meet Otis, the little shop dog. He's a dachshund, and she got him as a puppy, and I hadn't been in there in maybe a month, and I swear he's 6 inches longer. Like, he didn't grow up any, but he grew out, and he got up and ran toward me when I walked in, and I just had to start laughing because he's so cute. So of course I picked up the 2 that I'd ordered, but you have to look at what else is there. And you know, I've seen pictures and things, but they're right there and they're looking at you. And Chubby Bunny came home with me. This is Jeanette Douglas Designs, Chubby Bunny. Look at the bunny. And I don't have a lot of spring stuff. And so it's like, well, I mean, Why not? So, and Rhonda and I were talking, and neither one of us were thinking that we'd put the date in there, just because it may be 2030 by the time I get this stitched, and you know, you can pull it out every spring. It doesn't need a date on it. If you do date your stuff to remember when you finish things, it makes total sense, but I figure between Flosstube and Instagram, I have things pretty well documented. But she suggested moving the butterfly down a little bit, and I really liked that idea. So that's probably what I'll do when I stitch this someday, eventually. It's just so cute. I couldn't leave it there. Excuse me. The other thing I went in looking for, I'm working on a summer picnic biscornu pattern to release for ModCross, and I usually try to use a lot of DMC or things with and obviously there will always be a DMC equivalent if it's not DMC that I use, but I wanted something kind of a variegated pink for a watermelon because it's going to be a big block of stitching, so you can actually appreciate if it's a variegated floss. And so I looked at her different options, and I found Raspberry Parfait from Gentle Art. And there's beautiful subtle variegation in it. So that was fun. I needed a little bit of momentum to go back and work on that pattern. And I think this is going to give it to me. It's like, oh, I want to see how that looks on the fabric. Sometimes you just need a little oomph when you've been, especially it's one that I've been working on for quite a while, and it's just not quite coming together the way I want. And so I'm hoping this will be a little shove in the motivation department. So can't wait to use that floss. It's going to be great. So that was market and my visit to my local needlework shop. I have purchased a couple other patterns on my own because people keep releasing great stuff. And I just can't say no. So speaking of Allie from Cozy Cabin Stitching, her new release, you know, sometimes when you see something and it just has like a visceral impact on you, that's what I felt when she showed this. This is Finding Warmth. It says, turn your face toward the sun and you will find warmth on the coldest day. And it released at a time where that really spoke to me. I really needed a little bit of a boost to get through the winter, both on the farm and just personally and emotionally. And I can't wait to stitch this on a blue. You know, I want to put everything on blue. Everything looks good on blue, and this is going to be amazing. So I'll probably make the text a little bit lighter, but those branches are going to pop and the white's going to pop, and I cannot wait. It's going to be so good. So I believe she talks about it in her latest Flosstube, kind of the inspiration behind it and all the details, but I had to buy it right away. It's absolutely amazing. I love it. Just one of those that I want to have done so I can see it when I need it, you know? I love that one. And then Nuri at Shaded Stitchery. Look at the purple. Look at the purple. You know me in purple. This is Closely Kept #2. It's her second in a series. And it's, am I going to have to stitch a purple on a light and then do a dark tone on tone? I think I am. I'm going to have to stitch it twice because I can't decide the colors I would use. It's so good. So Nuri has a Gumroad, a Shaded Stitchery on Gumroad, and I'll definitely link that below. So while I was there, I've been meaning to get the Black Butterfly sampler since it was released and had not done it yet. Oh, she was inspired by Jacob of Modern Folk Embroidery's Black Sampler November. And I'm going to find some fabulous green-blue variegated something to do this. And I think she mentioned a Maya Angelou quote maybe with it. I need to look through the rest of the pattern. But I was thinking about using the letters and doing a quote instead of an alphabet. Oh, it's so beautiful. People are so talented. We are so lucky. So much talent. It's incredible. So those were the patterns that I bought for me, for fun. And then for my birthday last month, a few family members gave me gift cards to Cedar River Linen, which is the new dyer that's Jody of Trixie Tricycle here on YouTube, started dyeing her own fabric and opened a company, and she put an incredible amount of thought into the process, the packaging, how to make everything as eco-friendly as possible, and the colors are amazing. So this is Tephra. This is 18 count Aida. Beautiful. The color always looks a little bit different on my phone from when I get it into the computer, so we'll see how this looks on editing. See what I can do to make things as true as possible. This one I had to have. It's a good thing I didn't get more gift cards, or I would have had this in every single count that she has. This is Arboreal. This is a 36 count linen. I just, oh, it's so nice. There we go. Stunning. I love a green. If it's a green or a blue, just take my money. And then the red cedar. Also 36 count. So good. It's so good. And then I was on Instagram this morning, and Dee of Dees 20 Stitches was showing a preview of this loon pattern that they're stitching on there for Stitch North. Oh, spectacular. So that is red cedar from Cedar River Linen. Just amazing. I was so excited when I got the shipping notification for those, because I know she's had a really overwhelming response, which is great. And so I was expecting to wait a few months for those. And when I got the shipping notification, I think I did a happy dance, literally happy dance. So Stitchy Kindness, Nithya at Daybreak Stitchery messaged me a little after my birthday, and she said, there should be a little packet, a little something arriving for you today. And then I checked the mail, and dear, that is not a little something. That was a huge envelope of stitchy goodness and thoughtfulness and kindness, and it was overwhelming. I'm not going to show everything. There were coloring things for my kids. I mean, just above and beyond. But there were a couple things that I wanted to show. Is anyone up for a wee Santa Christmas in July stitch along? Anybody have a wee Santa in their collection that they need to stitch? This is the 2022 wee Santa from Heart and Hand. Look at him. Look at that coat. And it has all the flosses. You know what my first thought is? Oh, that'd look good on blue. Ridiculous. Everything winter, I just want on blue. Actually, correction, he would look good on anything. So, if you have a wee Santa and you're thinking Christmas in July, let us know, because we're thinking about a stitch along or a start along if you're us. And then she sent this Jeanette Douglas design that I had never seen before. This is Spring Wool Pin Cushion and Fob. And isn't it cute? I had never seen this one before. And I love it. And it's got this rainbow colored kind of variegated wool that has basically all the best colors in it. And some gentle art. Oh, this just seems like a really fun one to experiment with. I'm really excited about that. Look at me. Look at all these spring things. I just said I don't have any spring. Got spring coming out my ears. And then when I opened it, I could see the back of this chart, and I could see these. I mean, green, blue, and purple jewel tones. Yes, please. Like, what is that for? It's for this. Carolyn Manning, Jade Vine. And I had to show this one because I don't think there are any style of designs that my taste has changed about more than these Carolyn Mannings, because when I first started seeing them, when I first joined Instagram and started finding out about this broader cross stitch world in the middle of 2020, I was like, huh, like I just didn't see myself doing that kind of a project. And then as I saw more and more people stitching them, and I started seeing them in progress on Flosstubes, and everyone talked about how comforting they are and what, you know, fun stitching it is. And then I started seeing all the different color options. And now that I'm kind of into the full coverage things, I was like, oh man, I think I'm gonna want to do one. And then this one showed up and it's freaking perfect. I mean, it's all the colors that I love. And Nithya just, she nailed it. She nailed it on the head. She knows me better than I know myself, because this is amazing. There's, Carolyn just put out a couple new ones, and there's one that's a lot of blues. And Nithya sent it to me. She's like, look at all the blues. And I said, I know, it's beautiful, but I think I like Jade Wine even better. And you can see, I already totaled up the number of stitches and figured out how many I would have to do per month to get it finished in 12 months or 24 months. It's only 1,500 for 24 months-ish. It's doable, right? On top of my full coverage ones and designing and kids and farms. It's real tempting. It's really tempting. I think when I need an excuse for a new start, maybe New Year's next year, I might be adding this to the whip pile. I mean, I already have these blocks. It's so pretty. So thank you, Nithya. I cannot tell you what your friendship means to me. And you know that. But I wanted to say it here too. So thank you. And then also for my birthday, my aunt got me a couple things off of my 123 stitch with wish list. 123 stitch wish list. She got me a small Q-snap, a 6x6. I usually use 8x8s or 11x11s. 11x11s for gifts and models, because then usually they fit inside and I don't have to worry as much about ironing. I'm so bad at ironing and I so despise it. But I am doing some more smaller projects and kind of ornament size cuts of fabric. And so I'm looking forward to having a smaller Q-snap option for those. And she also sent me Redwork Pears by Annie B's Folk Art. And Annie B just released a blue work pears at market a few weeks ago. And it was calling to me at the LNS. It's there. I know she has it. So someday I'll be back and I won't be able to resist. And there's the cranberry cocktail dinky dyes silk to go with it. So Redwork pears. Maybe this is what I'll use the leftover paper bark for when I finish Kain Kapal. Ooh, yeah. So, Redwork pears. I think I would do this one first. Oh, sure, yeah. Just do the one with the most stitching in it first. Yeah, that makes sense. Probably this one. I wonder if there's some sort of fun pear quote. I don't know what it is about me and alphabets. I love fonts, obviously. I love design. I love font design, but I like sayings and less so alphabets. I might do that one as charted, though. We'll see. So that was Stitchy Kindness from Nithya and my aunt. And then my mom. My mom is a seamstress extraordinaire. She's an amazing quilter. She taught me how to cross stitch. She can do all the things. And so I asked her to make me some pajama pants for my birthday. Like, I just wanted pajama pants. Okay. And this woman. First of all, look at the fabric of these pants. So I get to go to bed in bright, happy green with blue scissors every night, and it's delightful. And of course, there's a shirt with a matching pocket made out of this fabric. I mean, extra. But look at these pants. I love these pants. So those are my pajama pants. And then I had mentioned at some point, going through some of her bag patterns, that I liked how a purse kind of looked. I'm not a purse person, but like, you know, I'm getting to the age where you can't just stuff everything in your pockets anymore. Like, you should probably have a bag like a responsible adult. and she made me one. Look at this. Look at this. Okay, the 3-year-old finished the fudge sickle that had been keeping her occupied. So, this bag. Look at this purse. This fabric is incredible. And then this is like a craft paper type material fabric. And I was like, Mom, was that hard to work with? And she said, yeah, I'm never doing that again. I said, well, I appreciate you doing it for me. And so there's these straps. And look at the lining is this orange polka dot. And then you could use it as purse size, or if you're someone who's moving away from a diaper bag and into having busy mobile children, like me, you can unfold it. This is probably captivating content. Should have practiced doing this quicker. Restrap them. Now you have a bigger bag. And there's a pocket in the front. And there's pockets on the inside. It's amazing. It's amazing. So now I'm officially a grown-up person with a really cool bag. So thank you, Mom. It's incredible. And then she goes, well, I had fabric left over. She made me a project bag. I realized after I did my whip parade that I didn't show the project bags. And so maybe next time I'll do that. I had so much haul and stitchy kindness to show this time that I didn't want to empty them all out to show them. But all but one of my project bags have been made by my mom. And I tend to put 3 or 4 projects per bag, really whatever will fit. I kind of cram stuff in there. So I can just grab one and go and have options. And so she made me this one. They all have a handle. I think all the ones she's made me are vinyl front. She's so good. She's so good. I told her, I'm like, Mom, if you ever, if you ever want to get into the project bag business, I think you could do all right. She did not seem interested in that option. So for now, I just get to enjoy them. So there's also some almond M&Ms floss that's coming for me from my sister. So hopefully I'll get to show that next time. And I'm really excited about it. So I did ask my mom for the name or information on the bag patterns if people are interested. And I know she sent them to me. I haven't looked at them yet. So they will be in the description box below if you want information on what patterns she used for the purse and I think the project bag she sent as well. So that is all the stitchy goodness. And it was a truly epic couple of weeks. So thank you to everyone who made that possible for me. For the featured farm segment, as I hinted to at the beginning, we have our first baby calf of the spring. So we used to milk between 50 and 60 cows, so we would have a lot of babies, and now we're down to 6, and we use that milk to feed our beef calves. And so our calving are going to be a little more spread out, but Aubrey, the Jersey, was early to the spring. She calved on March 3rd. She was due on the 9th, but we knew she was going to go early because she looked like she was about to explode. And we were leaving for the day on March 4th to celebrate my birthday with my family. And so I was like, she's going to pop as we're trying to get ready to leave. But she was polite. She did it the day before, which was very thoughtful of her. And so I took a little video of Mama Aubrey and her baby bull calf. I think he was a day old when I did the video. So it would have been the day after he was born, or the morning after. So enjoy, and I will see you in a minute. So I hope you enjoyed the baby adorableness. We're not going to have any more calves for a while, but we will start having baby pigs probably in another month or so. Hopefully the weather is warmer by then, because we do farrow our sows out on pasture. And once everything gets nice and green and pretty, I'm hoping to do a farm tour video for those that are interested. Nobody wants to see a farm in Iowa in February or March, early March, because it's either dirty snow or it's lots of mud. So currently it was, I think, 10 degrees Fahrenheit this morning, so we are definitely in a dirty snow phase, but the mud is coming. So after that all clears out and the cows get back out on pasture, I will do a farm tour video where we can meet the cows and go around and see the baby pigs frolicking in the meadow, which is way more picturesque than it is right now. So all that is left is my up next segment, a suggestion of someone that maybe you might want to go watch next. And today's recommendation is Christy at XStitchCollective. She started her Flosstube a little bit before I did, so she has a few more videos, and she has some Stitchy updates, but she's also been doing interviews with fellow designers. She is a designer. And she's actually started a new Discord chat for designers that has ballooned into something called the XStitchCollective. So if you go on if you're on Instagram, follow at the XStitchCollective, and it's a group of us. I think we're up to 50 now, and it's a place where we can share ideas and share information and knowledge and tips about creating print patterns when you're used to PDFs, and some behind the scenes stuff for needlework market, and running sales and using the programs, the stitching design programs that everybody uses. And it's been, I mean, I have some serious imposter syndrome when I go in there, but it's also been so beneficial to just be able to talk and ask questions and learn from all these people that are at kind of similar places in their design journey. And I'm just so grateful that I'm a part of it. And I really enjoy watching Christy's videos, talking to other designers, because you get to see what they're working on, and you get to see maybe some of their older patterns that you hadn't noticed, and just hear the thought processes behind it. It's a lot like our Flosstubes in that we like to hear people's stories behind changes that they make, or why they stitch what they do, or what they're drawn to. And this is from a designer perspective of why they're creating what they're creating, that then we all get to enjoy. So Christy at XStitchCollective, highly recommend. So yeah, that's it for today. And my closing words are hitting pretty hard today, and especially for all of us as we move into a new season, whether you're moving into spring here in the Northern Hemisphere, if the kids are getting ready to wrap up school. I know we're starting to get a lot of recitals and concerts and year-end things on the calendar, and then starting to worry about summer camps and all the things. So as we move into a new season, wherever you are, just remember to do what you can, when you can, and happy stitching. Thank you so much for joining me today.